What's going on, everyone? Happy Sunday. Hopefully everyone is doing well, staying safe, healthy, testing negative for the viruses if you had to take a test, and having a great day so far. It is time now for the Sunday Wastewater Update edition of the Virus Update for Sunday, September 21st, 2025. If you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. This is where I do the daily virus update on all those viruses that can make us sick to help keep you informed and safe from what is going on. Want to stay informed? Just subscribe down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Share this video with anyone you know. Leave your comments down below. And remember to hit that notification bell to be notified of my latest updates. Alright, we do have a few news stories today. Then we are going to take a look at wastewater as well. We also have some data from CJS. We'll probably fit that in before we get to the wastewater. Looking at about a 15 to 20 minute video today. Starting off with this from Glador. With COVID in England, weekly accident and emergency attendances. You know, the emergency room. We call it the emergency room here. They call it A&E there. A&E attendances for COVID-like illness in England. Hey, they are going up. The current level is around 3 times that of the lowest point in week 4 of 2025 and the highest since week 44 of 2024. Yikes. That's not a good thing. And now moving on to this here in the United States. Before we do that, I got to remind you, if you haven't grabbed a cup of coffee, pause this video. Go get a cup of coffee. Let's have some coffee during this video today, shall we? Taking a look at COVID in California for Mike Horger. Unfortunately, though things are coming down a little bit, they're still very high. COVID is still very high. The CDC has California with very high levels of COVID statewide for the 3rd week in a row. PMC estimates 1 in 25 actively infectious, barely down from last week's likely peak. Yeah, they peaked, but 1 in 25 infectious, that is still a lot of people. And you can see here, they are still listed very high in California. The good news is, should they continue to drop next week, well, they would move down the high, which still not good, but better than very high. So we'll have to continue to watch this. Note, in a classroom of 30 students, if there are no testing and isolation protocols, one would expect about a 70% chance someone is infectious. Yikes, that's not good. And once again, they do appear to be peaking statewide at this time. And the very high areas does include some of the most populated areas, such as Los Angeles. High would be San Francisco, San Diego, Riverside, Santa Barbara, Santa Clara. So not as high there, but again, Los Angeles, that is a very populated area, and there you are, you're still having very high levels of COVID. Speaking of that, breaking. LA County reports COVID positivity at an all-time record high year over year. Yikes. Now that seems bad and scary, and someone's going to say, oh, he's fear-mongering. Actually, for as bad as that is, there's a reason for that. Less and less people are getting tested for COVID, or they're using these guys right here. Hang on, I got it for you. These right here. The at-home test. We haven't showed that in a while. And because of at-home testing, well, that's not really getting reported to the CDC, the county, LA County, the state level, whoever. So because of that, positivity levels, yeah, they're really inflated right now. But believe it or not, last summer's wave was worse than this summer's wave. All right, moving on now to Utah, where in Cache County, yes, they have their first case of measles, and Utah measles cases increased to 34. Total, there were 4 new cases added, but now Utah is at 34 cases. You know, it's this numbers game where it just keeps multiplying. Hopefully, it slows down in Utah relatively soon. Now, moving on to this. We've been talking about, so many illnesses lately, and there's some we've just been tweeting and not talking about. Sports has been getting hit really hard. But there's this. Lainey Wilson, country music singer, deeply sorry after being forced to reschedule concert due to illness. The truth is, it's only gotten worse. What is that? Well, rather than trying to find it here, because I already read this, she's having problems with her voice. She lost her voice, and she was supposed to do a concert in Houston. That's now rescheduled for November 1st. We know how that goes. Hopefully November 1st happens. Sometimes they continue to have to reschedule things, and sometimes one concert leads to another concert being scheduled. Yes, there's a lot of illness going on around. Yesterday we heard that Steve Martin has tested positive for COVID. I believe there was a rocker we heard with the illness. There was another country music singer recently. And, well, we've seen a lot of this lately. My tracking threads over the past week. Look at that. September 17th. That's the furthest back we go for something this week. Prior to that, it's September 1st. Some of these do not get updated all that frequently because there's not much going on. But yeah, look how many got updated. That means there was a lot of news this past week. And I'll tell you what, list of performers and U.S. Sports illness have really been starting to fill up. Of course, list of performers, as it says it's 20th, meaning Lainey Wilson needs to be added there. But man, when we go to sports illness, there's a lot of things popping up. Wouldn't be surprised if more pop up before the day's done because it's Sunday football, and NFL is definitely seeing its share of the illnesses. The Rams are seeing an illness. We're seeing an illness with Jackson Smith. This is in, what is that? Seattle Seahawks, I believe that is. Yeah, we're just seeing a lot of illnesses popping up, which clearly tells us, yes, there's a lot of, whether it's COVID or not, there's a lot going around right now, and man, we haven't even gotten into cold and flu season just yet. Alrighty, we did a poll question yesterday asking, do you think it's okay for algorithms to suppress the word COVID? Yeah, the majority, it was 311 votes, not the biggest vote we've ever done. 97.1% out of 311 votes said no. Just 2.9% said yes. I want to know who that 2.9% is. Who thinks it's okay for COVID to be suppressed in the algorithms? It's okay. We don't need to hear about that too much. It's no big deal. We're not getting sick. Hello? Millions of people are still getting sick. Millions of people are dealing with long COVID. Totally ridiculous. All right, it's Wastewater Sunday, which means we need to take a look at Canada's wastewater levels. And that's moderate for COVID. Flu A, Flu B, and RSV. Wastewater viral activity level is low at this time. All right, let's take a look at what's going on with the EMS calls. We can see Florida has a few sick person calls this morning. Skipping over Philadelphia, that has not come in yet. It doesn't come in until the afternoons on Sundays, in most cases as of lately. Taking a look at Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, and we do see here there are quite a few calls right now. Cardiac emergency has been showing up a lot when I've been looking this weekend. That is not a good thing. Taking a look at Chester County, we do see respiratory difficulty and sick person is showing up a few times. Alrighty, before we continue on to the wastewater and the state dashboards, we need to go over to some data now from CJS. And it's not the full thing that he usually does. CDC is delayed with their death counts, but there are some things that need to be noted here. Some of these states did do a data dump for deaths, especially Minnesota, he says. That's why I included this whole thing, to remind myself of that. I also put up here, prior to his data, a peak, or we've passed a peak in the wave. A peak does not mean the COVID wave is over and that things are safe again. No, the peak just means that, hey, we stopped rising, but now we need to come down from these really high levels. Alrighty, moving on to this. But he apologizes for the minimal amount. It's not his fault. It's the CDC. CDC's not doing things when they're supposed to be doing things. Florida, daily cases on Thursday, 1,114 new cases and 27 new deaths. New York, 1,294 new cases. Puerto Rico, 420 new cases. Massachusetts, weekly number, a net of 1,815 new cases, 199 CDC reported hospitalizations, and 54 new deaths going back to June, though. So that's a total from many weeks of reporting. Minnesota, weekly number, 1,482 new cases, 101 CDC reported hospitalizations, and 42 new state reported deaths. An obvious data dump is included in that total. Friday, Florida had 818 new cases and 25 new deaths reported, and 7,364 cases and 107 deaths were reported over the past 7 days, to go along with 1,168 CDC reported hospitalizations. Get this. You saw how many cases Florida did for the week. Here's New York State now. Yeah, not good. We might see a crossover, meaning New York State cases are getting as high as Florida now. New York State, 1,235 new cases reported on Friday. Here's what they had for the week. 7,145 cases reported over the past 7 days. Yeah, that's really close to Florida now. It may pass at some point. To go along with 445 CDC reported hospitalizations and 36 new deaths based on provisional reporting by the CDC Thursday. Hey, New York State's still doing deaths and the cases are still going up. That's not good. Puerto Rico, 296 new cases reported on Friday. 2,587 cases and 5 deaths reported over the past 7 days. All Puerto Rico deaths are reported on Tuesday this week to go along with 143 CDC reported hospitalizations. Hey, Puerto Rico cases are going down. California, 8,091 new positive tests, a test case positivity rate over the past 7 days of 10.65%, down from 11.85% last week. 1,549 reported hospitalizations and 60 new state-reported deaths, including one from 2024 and one from January of this year. Louisiana, 1,070 emergency department visits for COVID-like illness, a test case positivity rate of 7.8%, down like an anvil from 11.2% last week. 179 CDC reported hospitalizations and 3 new state reported deaths. Oregon, state reported counts come on Wednesday, 112 CDC reported hospitalizations, and Washington, 182 CDC reported hospitalizations. We'll take a look at both of those states in wastewater in just a moment. All right, let's go over to wastewater now, shall we? First off, let's go to New Jersey first. We're not looking at the hospital situation in Pennsylvania and New Jersey today. And it's not terribly busy. It's Sunday, which is a good thing. COVID wastewater in New Jersey has gone up ever so slightly at this time. You can see that here. Chicago, before we do your wastewater, we need to take a look at your positivity rate, which has been trending higher. It's now level at 5.6%. Emergency department visits there are low. Everything else is still fine. 0.2% positivity rate for RSV there at this time. In Florida, in Orlando, Florida, we do see your COVID and wastewater has started to drop at this time. Norovirus, take a look at this. The norovirus level in, where is this orange one? Southwest Florida. Yeah, that's still elevated. It's come down a little bit, but it's the highest of anywhere else in Orange County, Florida. That is not good whatsoever. All right, the national levels of COVID and wastewater. You know what? Let me pull that up real quickly. We'll show that to you first. It is starting to come down. You can clearly see that here. It's coming down in all regions. That's good. It should continue to drop. It should behave, hopefully, and continue to drop. And may not be a real quick drop at the moment. That may slow off, but we should see a drop for multiple weeks now. And there will be some states that go off and do their own thing. Of course, we know the Northeast is flawed because there are so many wastewater sites in New York State that are just not updating at this time. All right, Alabama, you have very high wastewater still at this point. Taking a look now, let's go to the Pacific Northwest, as promised, because you can't do that on WastewaterSCAN. Oregon at this time is reporting high levels of COVID still. Let's see what's going on there. The good news is, if you take a look at this chart, it is starting to drop at this time. So that is some good news. Washington, what's going on there? Still listed high, but starting to drop at this time. Let's go to one more state on here. Let's go to Pennsylvania. See what's going on there. Take a look at this. Pennsylvania is listed at moderate at this time, but as expected, Center County, Pennsylvania. I was watching that one. So there's a big event there. Center County is listed high. Penn State football. It draws over 100,000 people. They had 109,000 people last weekend at the game itself for the Villanova game. And mind you, there are some people that don't even go in. They just go to tailgate. No game this weekend. They do get another game next weekend. Oregon. Now, that could be a big game. Could ESPN College Game Day go there? I don't know. They probably already announced. I didn't see it yet. But if that were to happen, that adds more people coming up to the area. It just adds to the insanity. And people come from all over across the state. All right, let's go look at a few wastewater sites on WastewaterSCAN. We'll do one for each region, and we will do more wastewater sites again tomorrow to help fill that void. We lost data on Monday. Yeah, remember Walgreens? We don't get that on Mondays anymore, so we have to rely on taking a look at other stuff. Look at Vermont. You do see medium for COVID there now. You do see one wastewater site still high, South Burlington. What's going on there? Yikes, that is still going upward at this time. Not a very big wastewater site, but it is still rising, and Burlington does get its fair share of tourism, as do many areas in Vermont. I wish Vermont had more wastewater sites. I could, can't show it to you here, but yeah, there it is, Stowe, Vermont. I really wish there was a wastewater site there. I have relatives there. I've been there dozens of times. It gets very crowded there with tourists from really all over the world, actually, do go there. It'd be interesting to know what the wastewater levels are doing in that area, but we can't do that. So you saw that. South Burlington, COVID's still going up. In Atlanta area, Big Creek, Roswell, Georgia. Take a look at this. Overall trend is still upward. Things are high. How about norovirus? Norovirus is low at this time. That is good to see. Let's go up to the Midwest now and see what's going on there. How about we go to, where do we want to go? How about we go to Louisville, Kentucky, shall we? And I'm seeing low. So, maybe some good news here? Yeah, they never really had a big wave here. Yeah, it went up a little bit, but your wastewater levels for COVID are still relatively low at this time. And everything else is really behaving well here as well. Let's go somewhere else there, too. Let's go up to South Bend, Indiana. Let's see what's going on there. Look at this. Very high levels for COVID here. Luckily, it looks to be maybe peaking, getting ready to drop, and also norovirus is starting to rise there as well. Yeah, that's not a good thing. That's not something we should be happy about whatsoever. Let's go to Salt Lake City, Utah. We'll actually do 2 wastewater sites in the west. Salt Lake City, Utah is medium at this time and dropping for COVID, and norovirus is also listed at medium at this time. Now let's do one last wastewater site, and I was thinking maybe San Diego, but actually, you know what, we'll take a look at San Diego. I'll give you a little bonus coverage. How about that? We'll do San Diego, see what's going on there. A medium for COVID at this time, dropping ever so slightly. More than anything, it's actually level, and believe it or not, you're not far off from where your levels were all the way back in July. You only went up slightly, but your state level dashboard, or your city dashboard, actually shows that you've had your fair share of COVID this summer. Hepatitis A. Look at this. Medium detections of that there. All right, let's go somewhere else. Let's also go to Alaska. And there's a reason why. A thought just popped in my mind that we should go to Alaska while we're waiting for that. Another sip of coffee. Coffee helps make some thoughts go off in my mind. Take a look at this. Anchorage, Alaska. Still high for COVID. Okay. Influenza. This is why I wanted to come here. This is the one place where influenza A has been problematic. Really, throughout the summer. This is really kind of strange. I don't know, maybe this is normal for Alaska? Someone educate me down below. Is it normal to see influenza A in Alaska be elevated in the summertime? I don't know. Is it? We do see norovirus is relatively low at this time. Alrighty, folks, that does it for the Sunday edition of the virus update. Again, we're going to take a look at some more wastewater sites tomorrow because we really lost that WastewaterSCAN. You want to see those tracking threads over on my site? Datareport.info is the website. Here it is. Here's the homepage, and it's right at the top. Or, yeah, it's the first set of threads, first category, where it says tracking threads. You click on 2025 tracking threads, and it pops right up. Of course, you can check a lot of other things. There's a whole section for COVID-19, COVID studies and papers, COVID outbreaks, COVID positive archives, which, trust me, that COVID positive archives, it needs a ton of work. Sometime I will get around to that. And then you can learn about other viruses as well. If you enjoyed today's update, give it a thumbs up. If you're new, subscribe down below, hit that notification bell, share this video with anyone you know, and of course, leave all and any comments down below. I will see everyone again next time. Until I see you again next time, stay safe, everyone. Have a fantastic Sunday afternoon, and thanks for watching.